Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. Today we're going to address getting fit before you hit the trail, before backpacking, before the trip out west or wherever you're going. We're going to talk about what labs I recommend you should do, and what exercises and how you need to prepare from a physical standpoint before going out in the outdoors for any length of time. But before that, I have an announcement. In the next video this weekend, coming up in a couple days, we are going to give away this 511 24 tactical backpack. Brand new. It's weather resistant. It's a great bag. And in the next video, we will tell you how you can win that and what you need to do. So there it is. Great bag. Very durable. If you like wilderness medicine, if you like gear review and staying safe in the outdoors, then think about subscribing. You'll get notifications on upcoming giveaways and our gear reviews and a variety of other areas that we target. Fit before the hike. So really it's going to depend on in terms of what you're going to do, it's going to depend on your age, family history of illnesses, any current illnesses, and what meds you're on. So what I'm recommending is over the 40 and over, I'm going to recommend certain blood tests, and we're going to put those up on the screen. And if you're 35 and older and you have a history of heart disease, I highly recommend a lipid profile. That would be important. I find that most 35-year-olds don't even have a physician. You know how they changed recently the colon cancer screening from 50 to 45. So some things are changing as we learn in medicine. Things change. Something can never be so clear about that than the COVID. Things were changing every few months, and the profession was getting obviously dissed numerous times because of that. But we are learning every year. New things are coming out. So with that, what do I recommend on labs? So for labs, if you're 40 and over and you have a pristine background, there's no, on your mom and dad's side, there's no major illnesses, heart disease, diabetes, I still recommend a CBC. That's going to look at any infectious process and are you anemic. That's important. Next is a CMP, complete metabolic panel. So that's going to check out kidneys, liver, thyroid panel, lipid profile, check out your cholesterol. And then also I would recommend like an iron and TIBC. TIBC is total iron binding capacity. Those are advised if you are any concerns of being anemic. So all of those are what I advise in an initial panel. If you're going to go, I say 6 days, 7 days to Alaska, and you're going to go camping, climbing, you want to know what that is. If there's a heart history in your family and you're 40 and over, you want to be assessed. I would get an EKG. However, an EKG is only a slice of time. That is not going to tell you if you currently have heart disease. It's going to tell you more about your rhythm. So remember, it's just a slice of time. But get checked out. If you have a history of heart disease, maybe your doc or your provider wants to do a treadmill. So these are things you really need to focus on prior to. If you are 50 and over and you're concerned about your bones, then you really should have a bone scan. What if you fall on the trail? Are you going to be more apt to break something? Do you have osteopenia, which your bones are a little more brittle? So those are things that I would recommend that you do. Hypertension screening. Get your blood pressure checked more than once. One blood pressure reading tells me nothing. I'd like to see 2 or 3 in a week or two period. So then there's your muscle groups, and then there's working out. And there are a ton of different websites out there where you can work out, learn different exercises, and the main thing here is to go slow. I wouldn't recommend anybody going out there and immediately jogging or running 3 or 4 miles. You want to start going up an incline, go up an incline. Go up a 20-degree incline. Do that over and over again. Work out your knees, work out your arms, work out your back. A great website it shows all the diagrams. I really advise it. It's called homeworkouts.org. And that's a great website to check out in terms of just some basic muscle concepts to work out certain areas of your body. The main areas when you're backpacking and hiking that are of concerns are major joints, your shoulders, knees, ankles, hips. So knees are a real problem. We're going to have a video down the road on knee injuries in the outdoors called hiker's knee. And one of the things that is a concern with that, when you're walking downhill, people think it's a cakewalk. But when you walk downhill, you're more apt to have knee pain than going uphill. If you have anything going on with your, let's say, your ACL, I'm sure you've heard about that in football injuries. So you have your knee, you have a ligament that runs across. Going downhill is more apt to, if you have any injuries there, you're going to have more pain. So you have to strengthen those areas. So those are some of the areas you really need to focus on of working out a month, 2 months, 6 months before you go on your long excursion, backpack hiking, whether it's mountaineering, whatever it might be. One of the things that I see is not mentioned very much at all on a lot of these backpacking channels, hiking, camping, is travel insurance. Yeah, travel insurance for backpackers. And let me tell you why that's really important. It's important because it costs very little. And if you're out west, or you're in the mountains, or for anywhere for that matter, and you have to, if you fall, you get injured, and you have to be flown out, or you get lost and there's a search and rescue mission for you, on average, to be flown out to the hospital is anywhere from $45,000 to $75,000. So for less than $50, you can get traveler insurance, or backpacker insurance, and check with your agent. Usually less than 50 bucks if you're backpacking. Obviously it's about $300 to $500 if you're flying somewhere. That'll cover your trip, lost luggage, and all of that issues. Something you really need to consider if you're going into the backwoods. Now, what's important, I haven't found one of these in my research that covers things like extreme sports. So if you go out there and you paraglide, or you're down in the Bahamas and you get injured paragliding, it will not cover extreme sports like paragliding, bungee jumping. It won't cover anything like if you're, drunk on alcohol. So some of those issues it will not cover. But it's really wise for a very little amount of money to cover yourself. And then I'm also asked about vaccines. Should I get vaccines? Well, you should have your tetanus updated if you're out in the woods for sure. The other thing, you want to make sure about your hepatitis B vaccine is up to date. If you're traveling overseas and you're going on a trip to Africa, Philippines, Honduras, any of those countries, look up a good travel medicine provider. They're going to know exactly what you're going to need for each country. The CDC also on their website has that. For example, going to Africa, I was that close to going there. I've had all my vaccines for that. It was like typhoid, yellow fever, cholera, hepatitis A for sure. Not meningitis, I don't think, for Africa. But there are just a slew of different vaccines you should get if you're going overseas. So remember that. Vaccines, travel insurance. All right, that's what we have today. If you have any questions, put them down there. If you can think of some other information that I left out, throw it down in the comments. Thanks a lot. Keep your eyes on the rise and your face to the wind. Till next time.